Hey, it's Jared. Today we're going to compare two fitness rings. This is the Oura ring versus the UltraHuman ring. These are rings that I've been wearing for a long time. Yes, on both fingers. Gotten all the questions. Why you're wearing two wedding rings? Explain why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for science, you guys, because I want to compare these two and figure out which one is the best option for myself. I have been wearing the Oura ring for over a year, and so I have a lot of experience with the Oura ring, and I've been wearing the UltraHuman ring for about 4 or 5 months. I think probably about 5 months now. And I have a lot of experience with that one as well. And really, as far as rings go, there's not a ton to talk about because both of these rings, the build quality is great. They feel great. Obviously, the UltraHuman is just slightly thicker, but there's a difference here with the Oura ring. The Oura ring has these 3 bumps in here, which sometimes can feel a little bit uncomfortable, whereas the UltraHuman just has one little kind of raised area that's not too bad. Both of these rings are a size 10, and the Oura ring definitely feels a lot tighter. If I put the Oura ring on my ring finger, it's pretty snug. It fits pretty well, pretty tight. Got to give it a little bit of a tug to get it off of my finger. But the UltraHuman slides on really easily and is a size 10, and so you could tell that there's a little bit of a difference between the two here. Now, I opted to wear these rings on my ring fingers because I just don't like the feeling of it being on my index finger. I know that that's how they kind of market and advertise, is using it on the index finger. I don't really like that, and I haven't found that it has given any issues or any situations where the data that it's capturing is not accurate. Both of these rings have captured, pretty consistent data, and I haven't had any issues with the fact that I'm wearing them on ring fingers. And being that I'm married and typically would be wearing a ring either way, it just fits better, and I just like it better there. So let's take a look at the rings themselves. This Oura ring in this particular color kind of has a matte finish. I like the matte finish, and if we look at it, this ring is over a year old, and so you can see it's got some scratches, but it's not too bad. A little bit of scratches around the kind of beveled edges there, you can see, and overall, it's held up really well. Now, this UltraHuman ring is a bit newer. I had to get a new one, not because I broke it, but simply because it stopped. I'm not exactly sure what the issue was, and I had an UltraHuman ring that was the same color as this ring. It had matte finish, but they're no longer doing that color. They now have kind of this polished finish color. I'll make sure to showcase all of the different color options that are available. But I like this color. It's a little bit shiny, and that's fine. And this ring obviously looks really good because it's only, I'd say, about maybe a month old. It doesn't have any dings or nicks in it. The other ring that I had prior to this one didn't have any nicks or dings in it either. I'll talk a little bit about that experience of getting a new ring because the last one stopped working a little bit later in the video. So as far as rings go, they're both pretty comfortable. I'd have to say that the UltraHuman's a little bit more comfortable because it doesn't have these kind of 3 raised areas that press into your finger. After wearing it for a long period of time, especially, as we swell a little bit, as we retain water or whatever, the 3 little bumps they're not super comfortable. I would recommend really making sure that the ring fits well. If you go with the Oura ring, use the sizing guide. Maybe go with a ring that is one size larger than you typically would go with, but not a ring that's so large that it's going to slip off super easy, because these sensors do need to be kind of pressing against the skin. If they're not pressing against the skin, then you're not going to get accurate readings. So you want to make sure that you go with a ring size that makes sense, but is not too tight, but also is not too loose. Before we jump into the apps, let's talk about battery life. Both of these rings will last a couple of days battery life, and it really does depend on your level of activity. I would wear these rings 24 hours a day so that I can get the sleep tracking data. I wear them during workouts and just wear them throughout the rest of the day. Typically what I try to do is put it on the charger while I'm in the shower, or perhaps for an hour or so before bed, which is usually how I charge my Apple Watch as well. And that keeps it topped off. Right now, my Oura ring is low battery because it's been a couple of days since I've charged it, and the last ring that I charged was the UltraHuman, so the UltraHuman has a little bit more of a charge on it right now. As far as overall battery life, I have noticed that the Oura ring has slightly better battery life than the UltraHuman. The UltraHuman does seem to need to be charged a little bit more often, but it still gets several days of battery life. I'd say the UltraHuman probably about 3.5 days of battery based off of my usage, and the Oura ring maybe 3.5 to 4 days of battery life on a charge. And just to give you an idea of what my use case is, I typically wake up between 4 and 4:30 a.m. I work out for about 2 hours, and then I have the rest of my day, which is just usually a regular day. And then I'm going to bed usually around 9:30, 10 o'clock, somewhere in there. So it's a long day, and that's a lot of usage, especially with a good 2 hour, sometimes 2.5 hour workout every single morning. All right, so let's jump into the apps. First, we're going to take a look at the Oura app. This is my today view on the Oura app, and it gives me essentially kind of a readiness score based off of my sleep. Last night, I did not get the best sleep because I have a sick kid at home, and so my sleep was just not that good. It says that my sleep was good at 75, but I can guarantee you my sleep was not that great. And I did wake up an hour later than normal. My Apple Watch definitely got different results than this. My Apple Watch said about 4.5 hours of sleep. Well, the Apple Watch doesn't really give you a sleep score, but it definitely wouldn't be as good as this. And I don't believe my recovery was that good either, because I'm tired. Right now it's after 11 o'clock. I've been up since 5:30. I had a 2-hour workout, and I'm feeling the results of a lack of normal sleep. So I'd have to say, like, this is not super accurate. That might be time in bed, but that was not my actual sleep. So we'll look at some of these statistics a little bit deeper. The body clock is nice. I kind of like being able to get a visual on when I went to bed, when I woke up, my sleep and all of that stuff, and perhaps maybe an idea of where that should have been. Like, I should have gone to sleep earlier last night, maybe should have slept in a little bit more because of my sleep being interrupted so many times and not getting to sleep as early as I wanted to. The readiness score is nice to have, just so that I can get an overview of my week. And if that trend starts to get low, then I know I need to make some changes in my week. And so I really like the readiness score because it gives me that overview of my week, and it helps me better understand if I can make some adjustments going into the next week. We also get the sleep score, our activity score, and then we have our activity goal, which I burned, good amount of calories today, definitely over my goal. And then we also get the stress recorded also. And then we have a tool right here from Headspace that we can use to bring our stress down. I can put on some headphones and just relax. We get my heart rate, and so we get the heart rate throughout the day. Obviously, for every single day, we're going to see this same data. And then we have my workouts. We've got a cycling workout and a running workout. These were imported from Apple Health and not recorded in the app. You actually can record your workouts in the app, but it's just a little bit more of a step. You have to go down here to the plus, and you have to add your activity. You have to add your workout essentially here by clicking add workout and manually add it in, because the Ring is not going to be able to automatically identify what type of workout you're doing, like perhaps a Fitbit or an Apple Watch or a Garmin watch would. So you do need to come in and manually make those adjustments. So it's giving me a recommendation of ideal bedtime tonight. And then there's some other additional information down here, such as my monthly report, which is good to look at. And I can see basically a recap of the last 31 days of all of that information. And then, of course, I can scroll back and see previous days as well, which is great. Good, easy to view information. Then we have readiness down here. I like coming to this panel because I can see this bar graph kind of showing me my readiness and my resting heart rate. And you can tell, like, typically on days where my readiness is not as high, my heart rate is actually higher, my resting heart rate. And so it's just good information that kind of helps you make better choices moving forward. And then as we scroll down, we've got all these readiness contributors, which is good information to have. My lowest heart rate, my average HRV, then I can tap on sleep. Come in here and see kind of the same type of information for sleep, just to analyze your sleep and kind of see how you did. Lowest heart rate, HRV, oxygen saturation, all of these good analytics that you have here. And then, of course, there's an activity tab as well to kind of show how your day's been going as far as all of your activities. And then there's an explore section with lots of meditation, breathwork stuff, sleep stuff that you can use to get your heart rate down, relax if that stress is getting a little too high, stuff like that. So let's go into the UltraHuman app. The UltraHuman app is definitely a lot different. You do have a few things that are similar, but it's definitely a different experience. We have our sleep index here for today. which is very consistent with the Oura Ring. You can see my sleep duration, 5 hours, 36 minutes. Recovery score, also pretty consistent with the Oura Ring here. What I love is this stimulant window here. So if you're a person that drinks coffee, drinks energy drinks, pre-workout, all that stuff, this is going to help you better decide how much of that, how many milligrams of caffeine should you have based on what time it is. And this is great because it just reminds you, hey, no coffee after a certain amount of time, or maybe only 1 cup of coffee as you get later into the afternoon, because you don't want to affect your ability to sleep. We've got our movement index, which today is at 100 because I had a good workout this morning. What I really like is having the VO2 max in here. And so the VO2 max is a measurement of overall cardiovascular health. And obviously we want these to be as high as we can get them. And so for a person of my age, which I'm actually 44 years old now, I'm definitely trying to stay in elite as far as my resting heart rate. And my HRV, I want to stay up in elite. These numbers aren't the same as what I see in the Apple Watch. There probably wouldn't be the same as if I had a VO2 max test done in like more of a lab setting, but these numbers are numbers nonetheless. And the app figures out these numbers here based on the different data that it's collecting from the ring. And so I'm not concerned with whether or not 51 VO2 max is accurate. What I'm more concerned with is this number improving. Is this number improving or is it going down? And if it's improving, great. If it's going down, I need to figure out why. And so 51 VO2 max might not be totally accurate because I know that the Apple Watch produces a different number, and probably if I went to a lab, it would produce a different number. But in this app, it's giving me this analytic, which I know I can use as a number that gives me an idea of where my cardiovascular health is, whether it's improving or declining. We also have the ability to kind of journal how I felt my recovery was for the day. I really like this because even though the app might say my recovery was pretty good, I didn't feel like my recovery was pretty good. I was not decently rested and I am pretty tired. And so I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I like having this information there. And so this information here is telling me that I'm currently in a circadian dead zone. While light and exposure and exercise have other benefits, exposure during this window has minimal impact on your circadian clock. So in this window, if I work out, if I exert myself, go for a hike, do another workout, it's not going to affect my ability to get good sleep. So it's a good bit of information to have just to make sure that I'm not stimulating myself too close to bedtime. I've got my heart rate. I also have my skin temperature. I really like having both of these bits of information here. And then we also have my HRV and resting heart rate. These are numbers that are pretty consistent with the Oura Ring. And so I don't feel like there's much of a difference in what's being tracked here. What we do have here is SMART goals. And the SMART goals are goals that we can set for our day, such as how many steps we want to take, because the UltraHuman is tracking steps, how many active hours, which is kind of like how many stand hours you have on your Apple Watch, how many active minutes, whether I went to sleep early, did I get to sleep before 10 p.m.? Did I wake up before 7 a.m.? Making sure my sleep duration is a certain amount of time. How many minutes did I work out? Basically, my activity score during that specific circadian phase. And so that's good information to have. I just really like being able to set those goals and try to reach those goals for the day. It also gives me this cool timeline. It brings in the workouts, which it's brought in the workout not only from Apple Health, but it's also brought in the workout from Zwift, which was the app that I did the workout in. We also have the ability in this app to track our food intake. And so I can hit plus here and search for food and add food and track that, which I don't do. All of our information here is under one panel, which on the other app, in the Oura app, we have multiple panels of information. All of these you can tap and get into and find more information. You can see that they are pretty similar in the information that they display. They just display it a little bit differently. Rather than having multiple tabs, you're just tapping on these different sections and going in and seeing that information in each of these sections. Down at the bottom, I don't have their biosensor, so that doesn't do anything for me. I haven't created a workout zone, which a workout zone is basically you and other friends that have the UltraHuman ring can create this group together and I guess essentially kind of compete with each other based on your activity, sleep levels, and all that good stuff. We have a Discover section, which also has information just like the Oura app. This is more like educational than it is like meditations and different things like that. There's workouts in here. Here's meditations. There definitely is that in here. So I think that the UltraHuman Discover tab has maybe a wider variety of things available than what we have in the Oura app. And then we also have our profile, which doesn't really have much information for me there. So those are the two different apps. And I'd have to say, I think I like the UltraHuman app a little bit better. The Oura app definitely makes it a little easier to get through all of the information because you have the multiple different tabs at the bottom that you can tap on. But I like the data and the way the data is displayed on UltraHuman, I think a little bit better. So if I had to buy a ring for the first time, which one would I choose, or which one am I going to continue to wear? Because I'm obviously not going to continue to wear two rings. Well, I'd have to say I'm going to choose the UltraHuman because the UltraHuman doesn't require a subscription. That's something that I did not mention earlier in the video. With the Oura ring, in order to get expanded analytics, you do have to pay a monthly fee. Now that monthly fee also includes insurance on the ring. So if you damage or destroy the ring, you can get another ring. And so there's other benefits there, but it is a monthly subscription fee. And if you want to avoid the monthly subscription fee, the UltraHuman ring is the way to go. They do have a monthly subscription fee that is available that is mainly for insurance, but you're not going to be missing out on any data if you don't pay for that. So in the long run, you'd end up saving money with the UltraHuman because the UltraHuman ring doesn't have that monthly subscription that, yes, I've been paying for over a year now. So which ring would you choose? We've definitely seen that both of them are pretty consistent with the data that they capture, with battery life being pretty much the same, maybe the Oura ring being a little bit better, but the Oura ring has a monthly subscription that you have to pay for, where the UltraHuman does not. And being that I did have to get a replacement ring from UltraHuman, it was an insanely easy process. I contacted them through their chat within the app because the ring was no longer pairing to my phone and my phone could not find it. And it didn't seem like the ring was even powering up anymore. They simply sent a replacement out to me, and then I sent my old ring back to them. It only took a couple of days. It was a very fast process, and the entire conversation that I had in the chat was maybe about 5 minutes long. There wasn't a whole lot of back and forth. They had me try a couple of troubleshooting things. Those didn't work, and then they sent me a new ring. It was a very easy process. So I definitely know that UltraHuman's going to take care of me. I haven't had to deal with sending a ring back to Oura, so I don't have any experience as to what that process would look like. Check out the links in the description below. I've got links to both the Oura ring and the UltraHuman. If you have any questions for me, ask them down in the comment section below. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you can be notified when I put out new videos. We'll see you in the next one.